I was working with Children's Hospital for a while, about 6 years, and I would work inpatient, outpatient, but also in the emergency department. And obviously a lot of kids there in need. That number continues to grow as for some reason the crisis continues and expands. One of the most difficult parts about evaluating these kiddos is that if we did not have the ability or they did not meet criteria to go into inpatient, we had to find a place to help them out, find a place to get them established, get them help, get them medicine, get them therapy. And that could be hard. Sometimes we try to connect people 3, 6, 9 months, so long it would take, and obviously that's not sustainable. These kids are in crisis now, can't go back into crisis in the near future. A 6-month wait time isn't healthy. And what I found was, I'm not sure how I found it, but I started referring patients to mindful therapy group. And I remember talking to people at the desk and say, yeah, we'll get that person in next week. We get them in a couple days. And that was the reason why I kept calling them. And that's how I heard about mindful therapy, which eventually after I was done with school to be a nurse practitioner, that was the place that I looked to see if I could get work.
Well, I started because I was actually working at a hospital before this, and I was getting pretty burnt out. So the hospital I was at before, in-home mental health kind of model. So we would go see clients in the county. Fortunately, I hadn't heard of Mindful before. My brother heard of them because we did Medicaid only. So we were working with a lot of clients that had a lifelong history of trauma, basically. That kind of inspired the kind of clients I wanted to work with. I have also a history of working with clients that have a DV history. So I really like working with clients that have a lot of trauma. Just, they're curious where the roots of the trauma are from. I like to normalize individuals' reactions to trauma, like trauma responses, like that. And so, yeah, that's kind of population I work with, 18 and up.
Working with kids is not something that's natural to me. It never has been. I worked at Fairfax initially, at hospitals in Washington State, working in psych, and I enjoyed that, working with adults primarily, some adolescents, some teenagers, which is not as hard for me. And then job opportunity came to work at Seattle Children's. I was anxious about the idea, but I thought it'd be a good step, especially in growth of my own practice, and that's where that came from. I learned to get more comfortable. Though I'd say that I'm not as natural as people like my brother, for instance. I'm starting to get the idea now that I have a kid, it's much easier than it used to be. But that's how I started the practice, and I know that there's a huge need. There's a huge need for kiddos of all ages, children up to adolescents. I started this working with 13 and up, that'll be my idea. But I hear need. It's hard for like 10-year-olds, 8-year-old, 9-year-olds to find people that can do medication practice that aren't willing to do it. And so because of that, I begin to get younger and younger. Probably, I think my youngest is 10 years old. And I do enjoy it. I do enjoy helping out. And it's nice to see the benefits from it, to see them be able to work better in their school system, be able to work better with their parents. I find that rewarding, especially with a need. That's pretty rewarding. Worked with Mindful for a little over 2 years now. This was my first practice in psychiatry, and there was anxiety inside of that. But what I really liked is being able to partner with Mindful, to be able to run a business, see patients the way I want to, but also having people to help out with the business side of it. There's been incredibly helpful with marketing, the insurance, with the billing, even with the patient contact, with scheduling appointments, asking them questions about admin things that I don't necessarily know. That makes it so that I can have a life, work 40 hours or under, spend time with my family, but still see the people that I want to see, help people I want to. This has been nice. Mindful's helped me to grow the practice. They've helped me to, again, see the people that I want to see, people that I think I'm having the most effect with. And no organization is perfect, but I think we've had great conversations. Nothing has happened that has been huge. I think there's been no safety issues. And I think that we've both, I've gotten to learn. I think I've gotten to share some of the stuff I've learned in other hospitals with Mindful. I think that's been really helpful. I've felt heard, and that's what's really important to me.
I think one aspect that I really appreciate about Mindful is feeling supported. I have a good account manager, previous before hers. They're both great. I know that I can always reach out if I need someone. I'm more of mostly solo, I can run solo, but I like the idea that I can reach out to someone. I like the charting system. I think it works really well. And even though, I do all online and I work out of my apartment, there's still an aspect to Mindful that I feel connected to others. There's been some, outings that I've gone to and stuff. It's interesting how I still feel like a community, even though we're kind of like all on our own, and like the option that there's actual like buildings to work in too, which I've been considering doing. I do like the ability that, just to be honest, like I'm my own boss, choose the clientele. I believe that's what was burning me out before, is seeing a lot of clients that I had to see, I had to work with. So I do appreciate the choice that I can kind of like be led towards a more balanced life, that I can take care of myself, my health and everything. So yeah. I think a goal for my practice that I've been considering for a while is actually, 'cause like I mentioned earlier, I work with 18 and up, but I would like to start working with teenagers. Just start kind of tacking down the ages, because, as we were talking about earlier, the need is out there. And I think that it would be a great opportunity to, expand my skills basically. And going off of that, adding to that, as a social worker, code of ethics of giving back. Because in order for me to become a social worker, I've had others supervise me to get my BSW, MSW, my licensure. And so I really appreciate that Mindful has started this supervision program. I mean, I started Mindful as an associate, and that just blew my mind that I could do that. I mean, there was like one insurance company I think I could get paneled with, and I think there's two now as an associate. It's pretty awesome. And so I would like to look into that into the future, just to make sure I have the right bandwidth going, but start doing supervision with, other associates. I think would be really cool.
I guess for me, growth for me, just continuing to build up my practice in terms of getting patients. I have a lot of patients I'm really thankful about. Continue to grow with that. There's still room for me as this practice grows, and we'll see how things go. Kind of will be fun. I don't know how this big model, I'm not sure how we would do it, but I would like to somehow, if possible, be involved with training, mentoring other nurse practitioners, if that's something that's feasible. But that's something that I enjoy doing. I like teaching. I like being part of that. I like helping people, especially when they're first starting the practice or they're brand new NPs, like seeing like how things connect and seeing the differences they can make in people's lives, as I've gotten to see. I'm sure David's gotten to see. That's fun. That's rewarding. And so to be able to enjoy that with him, I think is something that might be worth talking about and figuring out how it's possible.
Like I mentioned earlier, I worked at this hospital for like 3 years, and I think that something that is important for providers, like if they work at an agency or anywhere, is finding out about the staff you'll be working with, finding out about the other providers. And what I asked in my interview at the hospital was, how long have y'all been working here? Just trying to get general satisfaction. And that's something that I have found at Mindful, like going to outings, for instance. I find like an overall like satisfaction, like everyone's pretty excited about their practice, which I think is a very big deal. That if you have to like refer a client to another provider, or you could bet on that the person that they'll receive is pretty satisfied with the partnership they have.
The thing that I really, really enjoy, one of the things, is not having to have a boss, not having to do an annual review, go through all those pages and just make stuff up, things I'm learning, things I'm, just spending hours making stuff up, and then to get it reviewed and then see how things go. Hopefully I get a good raise. Now I just skip that entire process, make the decisions on my own, when I want to take time off, when I don't, what hours work for me. That is priceless.